tender, glossy, juicy, succulent braised pork belly. And I thought, with it being Father's Day coming up, what would be better than making this delicious recipe? It's indulgent, homely, and an absolute winner. Whether you're making it for your dad or just for your friends who are coming round for dinner, it really doesn't matter, but this will blow their socks off. And it's all gonna get served up with some delicious cucumber salad and sesame broccoli on the side. So let's jump into mastering this classic Chinese braised dish that you really wouldn't believe was this easy. Whether you've made this dish before, seen it while you're scrolling on your phone, or just want to taste something absolutely amazing, I can promise you that this braised pork belly is just unbelievable. Let me know in the comments section down below if you've ever made it. And if you haven't made it, also let me know in the comments section down below whether you think you will by the end of this video. It's glossy, it's unctuous, it is just the most comforting bowl of deliciousness. And to be honest, you do not need a lot of ingredients. We've got some whole spices, some star anise, some cinnamon, a bit of chili, some garlic, and Chinese 5-spice. We've obviously got the pork belly, we've got some rice to serve it with, you need a little bit of sugar, and then all you need is some dark soy, some light soy, and some Shaoxing wine. Now, Shaoxing wine is a Chinese cooking wine, but if you didn't have this, a really great alternative is something like sherry. That is not that dissimilar in taste, and you still get the same effect. It roughly takes only an hour to cook, so it couldn't be simpler. Basically, get your belly on, and then you make your sides, and bob's your uncle, dinner's ready. So let's get that pork belly on cooking, and then we can go through the other bits. So first up, we've got the pork belly. Unfortunately, I bought it in strips because it was the only way it was available in the supermarket. But if you can buy it as a whole piece, it's much better, because then what you can do is maybe make a strip about this thickness, about double what one of these is, because then you really get the full effect of that soft, bouncy fat. But not the end of the world, you can't win them all. The very first thing that we need to do to this pork belly is blanch it. So I've got a pot of water on the stove warming up, and all you need to do is cut this up into strips. Now, the smaller you cut it, the quicker it will cook, but this is all about the texture, so I do think that some nice chunks about this size is really what you want. Ideally, you would buy the pork without the bone in. It's not the end of the world. The bony bits get cooked anyway, and they can be your little chef's nibble while the rest of it cooks and you get it plated up. Nobody needs to know that you had a little bit extra on the side. So the pork's all ready with them little extra chef bits. Let's get it to the stove and get it blanched. You want to pop the meat in, bring the water back up to the boil, and when all that scum comes to the top, you know it's good, so skim off that scum, and then just pour the pork belly through a colander, and we're ready for the next bit. So that's the first part of this dish done. As you saw there, I skimmed off all the impurities. That I can't help, I'm a chef. You know, we're always told, skim the scum. That is like ingrained in me. You don't have to, but what it does mean is then that when you pour it out, the impurities don't stick all over it, you know, it's all just come out of the stock. So why would you want it to then all stick back on? But that's also the reason why you can just rinse it off with some hot water. And that is step one, done. So let's move on to step two, which is making the sauce, caramelizing the pork, and getting it all together. As I said before, we've got light soy, dark soy, Shaoxing wine, sugar, and some aromats. The dark soy is there to give it color, and it has a little bit of sweetness, whereas the light soy is a little bit more of a seasoning, and the Shaoxing wine, it's just that quintessential Chinese flavor, and sugar. So you can use palm sugar, rock sugar, doesn't really matter. And we're just gonna get this all seared off. As I said in the beginning, couldn't be more simple. A wonderful, delicious, tasty meal that doesn't take a lot of effort. That is my kind of dish. Just before we start that, if you're looking for this recipe or any of my other recipes, you can head to my website, it's in the description box down below, and you will find everything there. You can type into the search whatever the ingredient is, and hopefully a delicious recipe will pop up. But let's get on with this and get it cooking, because I'm hungry, as per usual. So what you want to do first is add a little bit of oil to a pan, and on a medium heat you want to warm it up and add in a tablespoon of sugar. And what you need to do is let it caramelize. So don't stir it, let it melt and go to this lovely brownish gold colour. And then when bubbles begin to form, I pop in the meat. Use some tongs and get it all nice and golden brown like this. And then add in your Shaoxing wine. About 2 tablespoons probably. And you want to let it cook down for about a minute, and then add in your soy sauce. About 2 tablespoons of the dark soy and about 1 tablespoon of the light soy. This is where you also add in your aromats, that little bit of garlic. I just crushed it and popped the whole clove in. If you had some ginger, that would also be amazing. Whack that in now too. And then you just want to cover it up with the water, just to cover the meat. And then you want to increase the temperature to high, bring it to a boil, and then make sure you turn it down low to a simmer. You want to cook it for probably an hour, and it's just going to be irresistibly tender, bouncy, and absolutely next level. While this is all happening, we'll go through what I'm going to make to go on the side. Okay, let's make some fantastic sides to go with this, what is smelling. It's got about 35 minutes left, that belly, and honestly, the smell in here is just like delicious. My belly is rumbling. I can't wait to eat some. So let's get the stuff together that's going to go with this. Broccoli, one of my favourites. And if you want 5 great ways to cook this, I've added the video just up here. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So we're just going to blanch that off, and some sesame seeds. Sensational. Spring onion, we're going to chop, we're going to have a little bit on top. I'm going to show you how to make some curly whirlies, very fancy. And then a little sliced cucumber salad, just to keep it a little bit fresh, a little bit, you know, because this belly, I suppose, is inherently a little bit fatty. We're going to get the rice on first, and then we're going to do our little curly whirlies, and then we're going to get the other bits together. And by that point, the pork belly will nearly be done, and we can serve up. So let's get all of this working. Now, if you've never made rice this way before, I love to use the knuckle test. So you fill it up with cold water, pop your finger in, and go up to your first knuckle above the rice. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've added a video up here. It was one of my first ever videos. The editing is probably an absolute lull, so give it a watch if you want a bit of a laugh. But yeah, head on over there, and you too can cook perfect rice every single time. Okay, next up, the spring onions. Take a nice bowl of cold water, and we will use the white of the spring onion, but for the curly whirlies, we need the greens. So we're going to cut off here, and we're going to cut them into strips like this. And then what you want to do, super simple, little restaurant trick, but it's great. We're going to slice it open so that you get 2 bits like this. So do that to all of them and pile them up. Turn them over because they're much easier to cut than when they're on their super slippery side. And then basically you want to cut this as thin as you possibly can, and then we're going to add it to the water and sit it in the fridge, and then they can come out when we're ready to go. If you've got any bits that haven't quite cut through, just pull them to one side. We can add them to the top and just give them a little split as you pop them in, so that all that cold water can get around them, and then they go into the fridge. Next up, we're going to slice the cucumber for the cucumber salad. Now, you can do this with a mandolin, but I know that most home cooks like you guys don't have them at home. But it's always nice to get this done about 20 minutes before your dinner's ready, because it gives it a little bit of time to marinate. So just slice it up nice and thin, pop it in a bowl, and then we're going to dress it with some yummy little bits and bobs. Now, all you want to do is add that to a bowl, and we're just going to give it a little season. So I've got here some rice wine vinegar. If you didn't have rice wine, it's not the end of the world. You can just use plain. Just a little bit on there. A tiny, tiny dribble of sesame oil, because that stuff very strong. A little pinch of sugar. And I love a little bit of chili crunch, because this stuff is delicious. Add it in, and that's it. Super easy, super simple. I mean, you can eat it straight away. Oh, yummy. But if you leave it to sit for 15-20 minutes, even better, because it all sort of soaks into the cucumbers and you get something absolutely delicious. You know, if you have some coriander, add some of that in, but I don't, so it doesn't matter. And you know that I'm all about not going to the shops, buying the extra stuff that you don't necessarily need. You've probably got enough things in the cupboard to make something delicious. So that's that. Now, just the broccoli. I'll just do a quick check on the rice, because usually I bloody let the stuff boil over. but we're good. And finally, for the broccoli, another great side. And what I love is toasted sesame seeds. So get a whole bunch of them and we're gonna pop them on the stove and toast them off. And then for the broccoli, all I'm gonna do is take it off the stalks. Also chop up the stalks, because you know they're delicious and they don't need to go in the bin or the compost. And just gonna blanch it. And I'm just gonna add in a good handful of them toasted sesame seeds at the end, grate in 2 little cloves of garlic and a tiny little drizzle of some olive oil and a little bit of salt. Just as I was about to cook the broccoli, the timer went off for the pork. So I'm gonna quickly show you what happens there. It's tender, it's cooked for an hour, but as you can see, still quite a lot of moisture left in the pan. So now we're gonna reduce it. We're gonna turn the heat up a little bit, but this is where you've got to stand and look over that pan, because it's gonna thicken up and get sticky quick. So you wanna make sure that that the bottom of the pan isn't catching, and you wanna keep that glossy silkiness as much as you can. So be cautious, turn up the temperature, give it a stir, and that's everything done. The broccoli's off, so I'm just gonna grate over that fresh garlic on the top. Mix that together with a little drizzle of olive oil, and then just sprinkle with them sesame seeds. Oh my God, it just smells delicious. So let's get this guy plated up. Some of that soft white rice. Oh my God, give the pork belly a stir and just get it all glistening again in that wonderful reduced sauce, and pile it up. This stuff is incredible. That fat is so soft and so tender. Yum. Some of that amazing fresh cucumber salad on top. We've got them curly whirlies. Just look at them. It's so cool how they all curl up when they're in the fridge and cold. Top it all off with some of them. Sprinkle more of sesames. Just look at it. And there it is. Doesn't that look spectacular? A celebratory meal if I ever saw one, but with minimal effort. So it's time for my favourite bit as always. Let's give it a little taste. Oh my God. That pork belly is so unbelievably tender. The fat is like, Oh my God. It is so perfectly rendered down. It just melts in your mouth. Even if you're not celebrating Father's Day or anything of the sort, this is a winning dinner. I just love food like this. Simple, really not a lot of ingredients, and just absolutely outstanding flavour. And a little bit of broccoli, just because I love it. Oh, yum, 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 yum. Okay. And that is all so good. That little cucumber salad cuts through the pork belly. It's a little bit spicy. What more could you possibly want? And that is the end of this video this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's a little different. We've gone back to some recipes, because even though I'm all about sustainability, low waste and zero food waste, I still love eating yummy things and teaching you guys how to make absolutely banging recipes. So let me know in the comments section down below, did you enjoy it? Would you make it? All of the above. If you're looking for the recipe, head to my website, and please, if you don't follow me already, give me a like, give me a subscribe, because it would mean the world to me. And it means that I can carry on doing this, which is what I love, teaching you guys how to cook. So I'll see you all again next week. Enjoy this dish if you make it. And I'm going to eat the rest of this for my lunch. I'll see you all later. Ciao.